EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for January 20th, 2023. It is Friday, and let me start off the video by saying happy birthday to my wife, who turns 29 once again this year. Doesn't look a day over 29, and puts up with me every single day, so I love her for that, and happy birthday, sweetheart. The Friday video forecast is proudly sponsored by McCall Collective Brewing. McCall is a family-owned and operated business with 2 locations in the Lehigh Valley. Their original Southside Allentown location at 102 East Susquehanna Street. East Susquehanna Street is open 7 days a week and features a full food menu, over 17 different beers to choose from, new releases all the time, along with local wine and cocktails, and they also have trivia nights every Wednesday evening. At their second location, McCall Collective Tap House in Trexlertown, located at 7743 Hamilton Boulevard, you can find 10 beers on draft, along with a house-smoked barbecue menu that is open 7 days a week. For more information about upcoming events, visit their Facebook page, or to place online orders, visit their website, mccallcollectivebrewing.com, proud sponsors of the Friday video forecast. So today, we're expecting mostly cloudy conditions, a lot of stratocumulus, and that's because we have a system still in the wake of our system yesterday, which is, in fact, offshore here. This is the system yesterday that brought us that rain, and today we still have this trailing energy that's sitting over New York State that's going to have to pull through. Is going to be staying off to our north in large part. There could be a passing snow shower, rain or snow shower across northeast PA today on its way out, but the bigger story today for the rest of us, mostly cloudy conditions for the majority of the region with that nearby, and breezy conditions. We're going to have breezy conditions 10 to 15 miles per hour and some occasional gusts 25 to 30 miles per hour, mainly during the day and then early evening, and then it starts to wind down a little bit after that once we get into the overnight hours. After that point, we get to Saturday overnight, and then Saturday we are partly cloudy, and temperatures are going to be seasonable for this time of year. We're going to be a little cooler tomorrow, as you can see above me. 36 to 44 is the temperature spread from northwest to southeast on Saturday, but we are expecting partly cloudy skies, so that will extend into Saturday evening and overnight as well. So if you're going to, if you're lucky enough to be going to the game at Lincoln Financial Field on Saturday evening for the New York Giants Philadelphia Eagles divisional playoff, both tailgating and the game are going to go without a hitch. Not expecting windy conditions, not expecting any precipitation. Should just remain partly cloudy and good tailgating weather, and good forecast for the evening game as well. So no chance for rain. If this was a Sunday evening game, we might have some problems, right? But it is not. So that is not going to be our issue for Saturday at all. Once we get to Sunday, this is our next system coming in. This is the European model I'm going to show you here. I could show you the GFS this evening. GFS is very close to the European model. It's not much different. So earlier in the week, we were making a case that the GFS was completely lost with what it was trying to sell. Originally had a system that was cutting all the way to the west here and bringing all this rain into our region, very similar to the system we had yesterday, in fact, but even more amped than that, and it had it cutting way to the west and just bringing straight rain to this, and we thought it was not the right solution. It was a standalone model. Every once in a while, a standalone model will score some points. This is not one of those cases. The Canadian European model had this kind of taking a track instead more like this, which I still think is going to end up happening, and that's going to allow for some snow to occur across at least the interior locations of our coverage region. Now, some of you will not see snow at all. Some will see a snow to rain situation, and I'll try to highlight that where we think that's going to be as of right now. We're not going to put any official maps out until Friday afternoon, late afternoon, Friday at 5 o'clock. So that's when we're doing our first map and discussion on the weather alerts page. So we will have all the information outlined on there at that time. That's going to be our first release, and then we'll do any updates Saturday that we need to do if there's any fine-tuning that needs to take place. But I'm going to give you a general idea of where we're leaning at the moment. And it is with the same camp that's been very consistent over the last couple of days, which has been European and Canadian models. So it does have this precipitation coming in as a rain-snow mix initially late Sunday afternoon, and then this you can see where that it has a swath of snow over mainly the interior location, as much as central PA, north central PA, northeast PA. There are some fringe areas which we're going to identify here where start off as snow and go over to rain, and then further southeast, when you get to close to I-95 and point southeast, this is rain in its entirety. And then when we get overnight Sunday night, some of those areas that started as snow in the fringe areas will change over to rain, and then this will end on Monday. Now, the European model does have some lag energy behind this with the upper level trough trying to dig in here. We'll have to keep an eye on this for Monday. I'm not going to make this part of the official forecast just yet. We'll keep an eye on this because it does have some trailing snow on the back end here before that area is changed over to rain. We'll go back over to snow before ending on Monday morning, but we'll see. Most guidance doesn't just kind of hurries us along, gets us out of here for Monday, where it's just a clouds giving way to sun situation, and that's it. So with that being said, it's just something to watch right now. But right now, the bulk of this is going to be late Sunday evening, and part of Sunday night here before this pulls away. And we'll watch for that little trailing energy here if possible here on Monday morning. But otherwise, that's going to be it for your system. Now, this is the track that the European model's taking. You see it takes it right along the coast, right over the Delmarva region, right along the coast. And it's far enough northwest that is going to get the interior areas. The snow is pretty much a certainty there. I do want to show you the NAM for today first, which is just showing you the few snow showers across northeast PA, a few, especially the mountainous regions. Whenever you have windy conditions, that'll happen. So we could have a few snow showers in those locations that goes through this afternoon, and that's pretty much it. But I wanted to show you the NAM for that ran this evening, okay? And this has been the most, for the last 3 runs in a row now, has been the most aggressive and farthest southeast with this low track. So instead of hugging the coast like this, like everything else is kind of going like this, right along the coast and up like this is further southeast and doing this, okay? And since this low center is farther east, it changes the ball game as where the rain and snow line is, okay? So I'm just going to move this forward here, you can see. And the NAM has this, again, offshore, not hugging the coast necessarily, but look where it has the snow. It is farther south and east, and it's actually bullseyeing areas from like Lancaster through the Lehigh Valley to northern New Jersey. Do I think this is right? Probably not. It doesn't have a lot of support for this. Some of you that are live in those areas are hoping and keeping your fingers crossed that it is right. Could it be right? Yes. But is it going to be right? It's kind of like earlier in the week when I was saying that the GFS was by itself. Probably isn't going to be right, and it turns out it's not going to be right. So, there can be some shifts from this, but I'm going to give you what the European model had this evening for snowfall. Again, we're not paying attention to amounts just yet, folks. This is just for illustrative purposes to show you where this axis and cutoff is. So I do think solidly if you are in all of central PA, including north central PA, you are in the snow. Northeast PA, you're in the snow. Why is it higher here in northeast PA? It's not because of elevation. It's because this low, as is going up off the coast here, is strengthening as it does so. So you have more moisture from this point and points northeast, okay? That's why. But you see these fringe areas here, and that would be anywhere from south central PA, including Harrisburg, including the Lehigh Valley, including parts of northwest New Jersey. This entire area going all the way down through like Quakertown, Doylestown, Pottstown, Reading, down to Lancaster and York. Okay, these areas that I'm circling here are all the fringe areas here. They're probably going to be starting off with snow going over to rain. But if the NAM is correct, it is about 40 miles southeast of what the European model shows. So if you're taking this line and moving it 40 miles southeast, that is now down here, and you can shift everything down this way, okay? If it's correct. Do I think it's correct? Again, probably not, but this is something we're going to watch over the next 24 to 36 hours to see where this goes, okay? Shifts are possible. This is not going to be the final solution here. What's shown on the European model most likely. It might be close, but there could be some shifts, and it could be shifts this way too, northwest, where it's pushing more warm air in. That's a possibility too. I don't think you're going to see like big grand changes at this point to the point where you're going to have Philadelphia up to New York City getting plowed with snow. I just don't see that happening at this point. That's probably too much to ask. At this point, we're looking at small tinkering, northwest or southeast of this snow line, and that area I circled in between there is going to be the critical areas where we're going to have to watch very closely, because I think you're very solidly in those areas of central PA and northeast PA going to get snow. You're going to get at least some accumulating snow. out of this, and a decent amount of snow out of it. It might not be it's not a big storm, but it's decent enough for this winter. It's good, right? So we're going to continue to watch that here in the next couple of days. Again, we're going to have a map out for that on weather alerts with full discussion and all that jazz at 5 p.m. today, okay? So moving beyond this, everybody's worried about this second storm too, because there's another one coming in behind it, and I spoke about this yesterday. Now, the trend today has been to make this low weaker, and because of that, when I was explaining the heights yesterday, if you watched yesterday's video, I was talking about in its wake, the heights would lower behind it. Well, that's only if this storm gets really wrapped up. This thing would have to really bomb out over here. Not necessarily bomb out, but it have to be stronger than what it was showing today. The trend is to make it a weaker and more progressive system, and because of that, there's not as much of this cold air advection push behind it. And as a result, again, first storm sets up the second, right? So the second one is not going to be influenced by those lower heights as much as it showed yesterday. And for that reason, you have a Miller B situation, which is a primary cutting into the Ohio Valley, and a secondary forming somewhere out here, right? And it's going to transfer from one to the other. But as that does so, you have a dry slot coming in here. You have snow initially at the onset because there's going to be enough snow or enough cold air at the onset. But once this one takes over, it's going to draw in some warm air at the mid-levels, which is going to change it over to other precipitation types, sleet, maybe some freezing rain, and then over to rain. And that's what it's showing here on the European model. The Canadian model is doing something very similar with the run that ran this evening. So again, the the European model and the Canadian model are in bed together, and they are looking at this system very similarly. Canadian's a little bit snowier than the European model is, but see how it changes over to rain as this low goes right over I-95. So again, this is going to move around a lot too, just going to depend on what the first storm does. That's going to dictate what the second one does, or have a large role in that anyway. GFS, by the way, has this thing cutting. Again, that's a very familiar thing. We've seen that with what it was doing earlier in the week for the Sunday night storm too, was suggesting that too, and that didn't happen. So GFS is alone on this idea with just this big warmth push, and I'm not going to bother showing it, but it's all rain. It's all green. I don't think that's right with that one, but you never know, okay? So we'll see. I want to focus on the first one. We'll deal with the second one right after that, but the first one's going to dictate what the second one does anyway, so there's really no point other than to show you that there is still a storm there. And then Thursday is that in the wake of this is going to get breezy again behind this system as it exits, but we do go back to partly cloudy and colder temperatures. There's no longer a threaded needle situation behind this because we have a colder air push coming in here toward the end of the month. I will have the long range out earlier this morning because I have some things to do with weather alerts, making snow maps, that kind of thing. It's going to take up my time. I'll have the long range out probably about 10 o'clock this morning, and it'll show the colder pattern that's coming in that's going to last through at least early February, I think, and there's a couple other storm signals I'm going to highlight in today's long range outlook as well. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchus. That is your outlook for January 20th, 2023. Have a great Friday.